Amanda could run a company without hesitation. But choosing one woman in the light of day terrified her more than any boardroom ever had. This is an original fictional story. Any resemblance to real people, places, or events is purely coincidental. For 11 days, they were exemplary. That was the word Amanda used in her head when she needed to feel superior to her own restraint. Exemplary. At work, they were flawless. Amanda called her Ms. Bennet only when other people were around, and never with the same cruelty she had used before. Sophia answered with perfect professionalism, clear-eyed and useful and impossible to rattle. They sat across from each other in meetings and dismantled bad, thinking from opposite ends of the table. Amanda still cut through hesitation like glass. Sophia still found the weak seam in every polished excuse. Nothing about it looked personal. Nothing about it looked like Amanda had memorized the line of Sophia's wrist in the dark. Nothing about it looked like Sophia had learned exactly how Amanda sounded right before she gave in. That part happened elsewhere. After hours. Behind apartment doors. In the back of cars. At one small Italian place in Tribeca where no one in Amanda's immediate orbit ever went. In Sophia's borrowed apartment downtown, where the furniture was temporary but the books stacked by the bed were real, and in Amanda's penthouse, where control still lived in the walls but no longer survived intact every time Sophia stayed over. They were not public. They were not reckless. They were also no longer lying to themselves. And somehow that was harder. Because once the pretending stopped, Amanda had to live with a truth she could no longer file under impulse or mistake or one very dangerous night. She had started expecting Sophia. Expecting the quiet text after 8. Expecting the way her whole body recognized Sophia's presence before the door had even fully shut behind her. Expecting the steadiness, the wit, the calm, the infuriating way Sophia never once begged for more and still somehow made Amanda want to give it. It had been 11 days of private order laid over private hunger, and Amanda was managing it right up until she heard Connor say, in the middle of a Thursday strategy review, "We should discuss whether we want to extend Bennett's contract past the end of the month." Amanda's head lifted. Only slightly. No one else at the table noticed. They were too busy pretending the quarter could still be salvaged by optimism and formatting. Sophia, seated 3 chairs down in a dark blouse with her hair pulled back, didn't visibly react either. She simply kept her eyes on the forecast deck in front of her and said, "I'm not sure that would be necessary." Connor blinked. "It's on the table." Amanda said nothing. That was the discipline of it. She said absolutely nothing while something cold and sharp slid under her ribs. 3 weeks. That was how long Sophia's contract had left. 3 weeks until she could leave the building, the floor, the daily architecture of Amanda's life. 3 weeks until Amanda would no longer be able to pretend that waiting had not become its own form of wanting. The meeting went on. Amanda spoke twice, cut one bloated argument down to 2 useful lines, redirected finance, and approved a revised timeline with her usual precision. But under the table, one of her hands had gone very still. Across from her, Sophia knew. Amanda could tell she knew because Sophia did not look at her. That was how careful they had gotten. That was how dangerous it was becoming. That night, Sophia let herself into Amanda's apartment with the coat Amanda had given her on the 5th day and claimed not to regret on the 6th. The city was wet again. All silver-black streets and blurred light below the windows. Amanda was standing in the kitchen in bare feet and a cream silk blouse with the sleeves rolled once, one hand braced against the counter, the posture of a woman trying not to pace. She didn't turn immediately when Sophia came in. "You heard." Sophia set her coat over a chair. "About the extension?" Amanda finally looked at her. Dark trousers. Dark sweater. Hair loose tonight, falling around Sophia's face in soft shadow. The sight of her still hit Amanda too fast, too low, too completely. Amanda disliked that she had stopped trying to deny it. "I did." Sophia crossed to the counter and stood on the opposite side. "Connor talks too much." Amanda's mouth moved without warmth. That's one of his less destructive traits. Sophia's eyes stayed on her. "You could have said something." "In the meeting?" "No." Sophia rested one hand lightly on the marble. "To me." Amanda laughed once under her breath. "You were there, Sophia." "I assumed you caught the subtext." "I did." Sophia paused. "That isn't the same as hearing what you think." Amanda looked away. That, more than any argument, told Sophia how carefully the line had been struck. The kitchen was dim except for under-cabinet lighting and the city beyond the glass. Everything about Amanda's apartment still looked precise, curated, expensive. But Amanda herself, gold hair loosened from the day, blouse open at the throat, tension visible now in the set of her shoulders, looked like a woman who had started losing battles no one else knew she was fighting. Sofia stepped around the counter. Not too close. Not yet. My contract ends in 3 weeks, she said. Amanda looked back at her. I know. I'm not asking you to hold my hand in the lobby. Amanda's breath shifted. Sofia saw that and went on, her voice low and even. I'm not asking you to turn this place into a scandal. I'm not a teenager, Amanda. I know how corporate worlds work. I know what it would look like if we started behaving like our judgment had disappeared. She tilted her head slightly. And I have a reputation too. Amanda watched her with unbearable attention. Sofia took one step closer. What I'm saying is simpler than that. Amanda's voice came out quieter than she meant it to. Then say it. Sofia held her gaze. I can wait 3 weeks to keep the office clean. Feet. But I'm not going to be something that only exists after dark. The line landed clean. No performance. No ultimatum. Just truth. Amanda felt it everywhere. At the back of her throat. Behind her ribs. In the exact place where want became fear if you looked at it too directly. Sofia's eyes never left hers. I don't need you reckless. I don't need you public before it's appropriate. But when my contract ends, I need to know whether I'm real to you in daylight. Amanda said nothing. Sofia nodded once, as if she had expected that. Then she added, softer now, I won't ask for promises you don't mean. That did it. Not because it was dramatic. Because it wasn't. Because Sofia stood there in Amanda's immaculate kitchen and asked for nothing false. No grand gesture. No corporate suicide. No adolescent declaration in the hallway. Just reality. Amanda turned away too fast, palms flattening against the edge of the counter. The city glowed against the dark glass beyond her. Somewhere far below, a siren cut through the wet night. When she finally spoke, her voice had lost all its polish. I know how to run a company, she said. I know how to run a life. She let out one short, wrecked breath. I just never learned how to stop. Silence. Then Sofia came up behind her. Close enough to be felt. Not touching yet. Amanda closed her eyes. Sofia's voice dropped low beside her ear. I know. Amanda laughed once, bitter and tired. You say that like it helps. It does. Sofia waited one beat. Because it means I'm not asking you to become someone else. Amanda turned slowly to face her. They were close now. Much too close for anything but honesty. Sofia's face was calm, but not untouched. There was feeling in it now, living invisible under the composure Amanda had once mistaken for distance. I like that you're hard to move, Sofia said. I like that you're impossible in half the ways that matter. I like that you know how to walk into a room and make everyone in it sit up straighter. Her eyes searched Amanda's face. I just need you not to disappear on me in daylight because that part scares you. Amanda's throat tightened. There it was. The real center of it. Not whether she wanted Sofia. Not whether Sofia could take her apart with a look and a hand at her wrist. Whether Amanda could let something matter to her without trying to reduce it to a manageable shape. She said, barely above a whisper, 3 weeks. Sofia nodded. 3 weeks. Amanda looked at her mouth, then at her eyes again. And after that? Sofia's answer came without strain. After that, you either choose me in a way that exists outside your bedroom. Her fingers brushed the inside of Amanda's wrist, once deliberate. Or you don't. Amanda's pulse jumped under the touch. Sofia felt it and did not pretend she hadn't. For a second neither of them moved. Then Amanda said the most dangerous thing she had said yet. Stay tonight. Sofia's gaze sharpened. Amanda held it. And if you stay, she said, voice low and shaking just enough to matter, I don't want to wake up pretending. The air changed. Something in Sofia's face softened, deepened, turned hotter all at once. She stepped in. Amanda didn't retreat. Sofia lifted one hand to Amanda's jaw, not taking control by surprise this time, not stealing the moment, just offering the same calm authority Amanda had been craving from the beginning. Then don't, Sofia said, and kissed her. If you're still here with me, take a second to like and subscribe. Stories like this only reach more people when YouTube sees real engagement. And tell me in the comments where you're listening from and whether Amanda is finally saying what she means. This time the heat between them wasn't frantic. That made it more dangerous. The first night had been hunger, shock, relief so intense it had felt like falling. This was choice. Amanda felt the difference immediately. Sofia kissed her slowly, thoroughly, as if nothing in the world was worth rushing now that Amanda had finally spoken in a voice that belonged to her and not to the woman she performed for boardrooms. Amanda's hands found Sofia's waist, then the line of her back beneath the sweater, holding not because she needed to stop her from leaving, but because she was done pretending she wanted distance. Sofia's mouth moved from hers to the corner of her jaw, then lower, to the pulse at her throat Amanda could never quite hide. Amanda tipped her head back with a soft breath. Sofia paused there, close enough for her next words to land against skin. "You're still tense." Amanda almost laughed. "That's not exactly new." "No." Sofia's hand slid down her arm, fingers closing around her wrist with familiar certainty. "But tonight you asked." That went through Amanda like heat through silk. Yes, that was the difference. Not being overpowered by want. Choosing it. Choosing to let this woman take the pace because she wanted to, not because her body had betrayed her before her pride could catch up. Amanda's voice came out rougher than she expected. "You're enjoying that too much." Sofia lifted her head and looked at her. "Yes," she said simply. Amanda almost shivered. There was something devastating about Sofia when she stopped softening the truth. Sofia turned Amanda gently, guiding her away from the counter and toward the windows where the city opened out beneath them in wet light and dark distance. Her palm rested at Amanda's waist, not forcing, just directing. Amanda let herself be moved. That still shocked her. Sofia stopped with Amanda framed in glass and night, golden hair loose around her shoulders, cream silk catching the low amber light from the apartment. She looked beautiful enough to be dangerous and too exposed now to hide behind it. Sofia's eyes moved over her with concentrated warmth. Amanda felt that look everywhere. She reached for Sofia's wrist, thumb finding the pulse there as if it had become the language between them. Sofia smiled with only one corner of her mouth. "That?" Amanda's mouth brushed hers. "Don't be smug." Too late. Amanda kissed her harder for that. The reaction Sofia got out of her now felt different too. Still heated, still immediate, but less like battle and more like alignment. Amanda gave ground in ways she hadn't before. She let her body answer honestly. She let her hands learn the shape of Sofia's shoulders, the line of her spine, the soft exhale she gave when Amanda finally stopped kissing like every moment might be taken away and started kissing like she meant to keep it. Sofia felt it. Her hand tightened lightly at Amanda's waist. "There," she murmured. Amanda's breath caught. "There what?" Sofia's mouth moved to her throat again, slower now, tracing the place where tension always lived first. "That." Amanda's fingers tightened at Sofia's shoulders. "Very helpful." Sofia smiled against her skin. "I'm trying." That dry little echo nearly made Amanda laugh again, which would have been humiliating if it hadn't felt so good. Sofia walked her backward in small, steady steps toward the bedroom. Not a command this time. Not a push. An invitation Amanda kept accepting. Every step across the apartment felt like its own answer. Inside the bedroom, low city light washed the room in silver and shadow. The sheets were dark, still imperfect from the night Sofia had first taken everything Amanda thought she could keep arranged. Tonight Amanda stood at the edge of the bed and looked at Sofia with something rawer than fury and much less defensible. "You know," she said, voice low, "you get more difficult when you're right." Sofia came close enough to touch but waited. Amanda hated waiting. That too was new. Or maybe not new. Maybe simply uncovered. Sofia's hand rose to the open throat of Amanda's blouse and undid another button, then another, slow enough that Amanda could have stopped her at any point. She didn't. Sofia's gaze lifted. "Tell me if you want me to stop." Amanda looked at her and felt, for one bright, dangerous second, the full weight of the choice again. Not force. Not accident. Not chemistry strong enough to absolve her of agency. Choice. "I won't," Amanda said. Sofia's eyes darkened. That was answer enough. What followed was heat shaped by intention. Silk slid from shoulders. Buttons loosened. The city kept burning outside while inside Amanda let herself be touched without turning every moment into a contest. Sofia was still the one who led. That was the axis between them, the beautiful, impossible thing Amanda kept yielding to. But tonight the surrender didn't come from being overtaken. It came from stepping forward and asking for it with every honest breath. Sofia pressed Amanda gently back onto the bed and leaned over her, dark hair falling loose now, face softened and sharpened at once by want. Amanda looked up at her and knew, with a rush that was almost dizzying, that this was what had terrified her all along. Not desire. Not loss of control. Being known this closely and staying anyway. Sofia kissed her until thought thinned and dissolved. Hands moved with care, with precision, with the same quiet authority Amanda had never once managed to resist when it turned toward her body instead of a boardroom. Amanda arched into it, furious at how easily her body still told the truth. Sofia's mouth found the inside of her wrist, and Amanda's breath broke completely. There. That was the center of it. The same place. The first fault line. The point where a woman in an executive kitchen had once told her to hold this and rearrange something much deeper than a bandage. Amanda's fingers moved into Sofia's hair. "Don't go easy on me," she said, the words out before she could decide whether to be embarrassed by them. Sofia lifted her head. No teasing. No smugness now. Just heat and something far more dangerous beneath it. I wasn't planning to. And she didn't. Not in the ways that mattered. She held Amanda where she needed holding, kissed her where tension lived longest, and kept the pace steady until every inch of Amanda's proud, overworked body remembered what it felt like not to carry the whole world alone. Amanda gave in by degrees. Then all at once, every hard line in her unwinding under the exact kind of control she had once thought she would hate and now craved with humiliating clarity. Sofia stayed with her through all of it. No rush toward the end. No performance. Just devastating attention and the low, grounding certainty of a woman who understood exactly what she was being trusted with. When Amanda finally came apart, it happened with Sofia's hand around her wrist and Sofia's voice close to her mouth saying the same words that had started all of this in another form, another room, another life entirely. That's it. Amanda shook with it. Not from weakness. From relief so deep it nearly felt like grief. Afterward, she lay still for a long time, one arm over her middle, breathing slowly into the dark while Sofia stayed close enough to be felt everywhere. No one spoke at first. Then Amanda turned her head on the pillow. Her gold hair was a ruin now. The city glow softened her face into something much younger and much more vulnerable than she would have tolerated by daylight. Sofia was half above her, one hand still resting lightly at her waist, the outline of her shoulders dim in the silver light. Amanda said, "This is a terrible negotiating position." Sofia's mouth curved. "You're not negotiating." Amanda looked at her. That was the point, wasn't it? Sofia leaned down and kissed the inside of Amanda's wrist once more, softer this time. "No," Amanda said quietly. "I'm not." The next 2 weeks passed with the kind of discipline that would have looked effortless to outsiders and cost Amanda more than she had ever intended to spend. At work, they were still impeccable. Amanda never touched her in the office. Never let a glance linger too long where anyone could read it. Sofia was no different. They kept the floor clean, the meetings sharp, the boundaries professional enough to survive scrutiny. But privately, the shape of Amanda's life had changed. She kept a toothbrush in the second drawer of her bathroom now that was not hers. She began leaving room in her evenings without calling it that. Twice she went to Sofia's temporary apartment instead of making Sofia come uptown, and each time she learned a little more about the woman who had stepped into her life so calmly and rearranged it so completely. The stack of case study books by the window, the old ceramic mug chipped at the handle because she liked it anyway, the small framed photo of Sofia and her younger brother on a hiking trail, both windburned and laughing. None of it should have mattered as much as it did. All of it did. Amanda never said the word stay. She didn't have to. By the final Thursday of Sofia's contract, the choice had already taken shape in quieter ways. It was there in the dinners Amanda no longer pretended were accidental. In the way she texted first some nights now. In the fact that when Sofia stayed over, Amanda no longer woke tense and immediately rebuilt herself into a woman who could deny what she wanted. She still put on the armor. She simply stopped pretending it was the whole body underneath. Sofia's last official day ended with a board debrief and a neat stack of signed documents. At 6:40, She came down the tower in a dark coat with her laptop bag over one shoulder and the clean expression of a woman who had finished a job exactly as she intended to. The lobby was washed gold by evening light. People were leaving in careful streams. The building hummed with the expensive exhaustion of another day survived. Amanda was waiting near the doors. Not inside the lobby's center. Not making a spectacle. Just there, in a charcoal coat over cream silk, gold hair lit warm by sunset, one hand in her pocket, the other holding nothing at all. Sofia stopped. For a second, neither woman moved. Then Sofia crossed the last few feet between them. Amanda's eyes held hers. Steady. No flinch. No boardroom coldness left in them. Your contract is over, Amanda said. Sofia glanced once at the glass doors, at the people beyond them, then back at Amanda. So it is. Amanda took a breath. A real one. Not a CEO breath. Not a performance. I'm still not holding your hand in the lobby. Sofia's mouth shifted. That would be embarrassing for both of us. Amanda's lips almost smiled. Almost. Then she stepped close enough that no one else in the lobby mattered anymore. But, she said quietly, I am taking you to dinner. Sofia watched her face. Amanda went on, lower now, the words somehow harder and easier all at once. In public. Somewhere good. Somewhere I can't hide behind an agenda. Her gaze dropped once briefly, to Sofia's mouth and rose again. And after that, you're coming home with me. The air changed. Not because the lobby had noticed. Because Amanda had. Because she had said it plainly. Cleanly. In daylight. Sofia looked at her for one long, searching second. Then she asked very softly, Are you sure? Amanda's answer came without hesitation. No. That pulled a real laugh from Sofia. Amanda's hand came up then, not to hold hers. Not in the middle of the building and not where anyone could turn it into theater, but to touch the inside of Sofia's wrist with 2 fingers. Their place. Their language. Their beginning. She let the touch rest there for one beat. Then another.